Okay. Before we start, I'd like Danielle, could you play the second cornet part? Because your part's covered with the higher parts, and I really want that to come through. A few quick things before we run through it that I want to go ahead and tell you. I'm actually going to start 3-4 in because it is kind of like at a build-up point, and I want to work into that. When we get to in, everybody's dynamic is fortissimo, but the cornets is mezzo forte. And we don't really have cornet players, we have the clarinet players, so they're not going to stick out of the texture as much because they don't have that brass sound to them. So I want to build up to the forte, but I want it to kind of be like a build-up moment, and then you guys kind of come down. I don't want it to be like a forte piano or anything. I just want it to build up, and then I want the dynamic level to come down so they can stick out. I want them to play it as loud as they can in a beautiful tone. I don't want you to make it sound bad. So let's start 3-4 in. Because we were kind of at two different sides. But that's okay, because that will bring me to what I wanted to work on first, is the very last, 9 measures right before O. The writing for it's very kind of scarce. There's the F's being played up in the higher notes, or higher instruments, and then there's the triplets going between the horns and the cornets. And I would like the dynamics for all the long notes that are being held as forte, but I would like to have something being done with that. I don't want it to just be forte, we're playing a long note and we're staying on the same dynamic. I want it to kind of, I want it to stay forte, and then I want you guys to do that diminuendo. Because we didn't quite do it, I didn't quite show it that well, but we'll do it better. And I want to work on the triplet instances. So if we could start at 9 measures before O, which is 5 measures after the 4/4 time comes up again. And everybody. can we do just tack points? So the whole notes just hit whenever you, and if you change. I want to hear just the triplet entrances, because I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So start at the same point. Okay, that was better lining up. With that, we're going to do that playing the full note values, and I want to make sure that the triplet pattern, when you have it triplet 4, I want that to be a tenuto. I don't want it to be short, because sometimes when we play triplets, it's like dut, 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 like we keep it short, like what we played before, so I want it to make sure it's long and that it goes into the next note. So let's try one more time from the same spot. Okay, well, I wanted everybody to play.
Oh, sorry.
But that's okay.
I thought you just wanted the triple.
Oh, sorry, I was not clear on that. That worked out a lot better. The next thing that I wanted to work on is at letter N, the passing of the melody. So if you have the dun 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 dun, I just want you to play, and so we can make sure that that is passing along nicely and that all the entrances are coming in right. So we'll start at letter N and just play when you have the melody. So that is, sorry, the pass, so you can see that we kind of pass it along, and then when it comes to the violins and the horns and the baritone, you have the melody at 2 after and 2, right? Okay. The melody kind of changes right before we go to the 5/4 bar, so I don't want, I want to go over that with just you guys and make sure that we blend. The sound that I would really like would be the horn sound, like the more brassy sound to come out. And I know that's hard with you guys playing the alto sax line and your string instruments, but I would like to play that just to see if we can blend with that. So
we are actually out of time.
Oh, wow.
All right, make sure, there's a clock on the wall, guys, so take a look when you get up there or have a watch so that you keep kind of your own time. Because when you're teaching a class, you got to do this yourself. Okay, so Jenna, how'd it go?
Not as well as I had planned.
Okay. Okay, how?
Because I get nervous and then I get wordy and then I'm not sure if I'm explaining what I want
Okay.
really well. And, yeah.
Okay. I agree you could talk less. And even right at the onset, you took like a minute and a half to explain something that you could have said in about 15 seconds. All you had to say was, cornet's being played by the clarinet, you need to play stronger. Everybody else, make sure you play a little softer here so that we don't bury the clarinet sound. That's all you need to say. Or the other thing is, you can use your gesture. You can do this to everybody else and do this to the clarinets so that you don't have to waste rehearsal time talking. Okay? All right, so any other thoughts from you, Jenna?
I don't really.
Did you get what you wanted? I'm wondering, did you get what you wanted out of that last section where you worked on the triplets?
Not quite.
Okay, so why did you leave that spot?
Because I wanted to hit the other spots too before I ran out of time.
Guys, you're better off fixing one thing and making it markedly better than trying to do too many things. Okay, so if you get in that bind again, make it performance ready for 10 measures.
Okay.
So for the next time. Okay, ensemble, comments for Jenna. Aaron.
I like from the onset when you started conducting, you made sure you had everyone's attention before we started activities.
I also like that you started the 3 measures before and right away, so that we kind of got the overall picture that it starts there rather than just at end.
That's good. What else? Come on, guys.
I thought your rehearsal techniques were also really good with the melody passing and then the attack point, so we could really hear where everything was supposed to line up and know where we're supposed to listen in the room.
I would just suggest that you try and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking a lot, but there was some dead space.
The tempo or the rehearsal pacing?
Well, both really, but
Okay.
but I was talking more the rehearsal pacing.
Okay.
I thought you had a really good presence and you knew what you wanted and you may have had a slower pace, like you mentioned, but you still had us get done what you wanted us to. That makes sense.
I don't know, I'm not very good with hair, but I did notice you had to keep putting it back.
Yes, you got to do something about that. It's really distracting.
My bobby pin fell out and I couldn't find it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Keep an extra in your bag. All right, Kaylee.
I noticed that you looked down a lot, and that might have helped us like with like the triple that you were like trying to really make sure we did and like we're all together on. So that's just something to think about.
Anyone else? Okay, couple things. You're not leaving yet. I'm coming up. So a couple quick things. Guys, if you tell students to do attack points, or if you say play the melody when you have it, high school kids are going to have no idea when they have the melody. These guys do.
Okay.
Just so you know, you can't say that to high school kids and expect them to actually know what you're talking about. You might have to be really specific. In this, I mean, you can do it as like a, ask them to see if they know, and when they don't, you might have to be ready to jump in and say, okay. So the way I would set that up is raise your hand if you have the melody somewhere between here and here, and then look around, and if everyone you expect to have their hands up has their hands up, then you move forward with your, okay, just playing your melody. But if they're like, then you're going to need to kind of guide them through that, okay? Can you, horns, how did you feel, horns and cornets, about Jenna's conducting for you on the triplets? Do you feel like she gave you a true forte on the prep? No, coming out of this diminuendo or ritardando, you gave like, I mean, it was like mezzo piano.
Okay.
So coming out of this, once you go to bum, 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 I mean, that's a big change there. Here, all that stuff has to be much, much bigger. And then you can do this here, but still give these people what they need there. Okay? I agree that there was you just need to kind of move things along a little quicker. I agree with Patrick. I do think you had some good rehearsal techniques, so that was good. I'm wondering about this.
Yeah.
And this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure you're seeing everything, because you want them to kind of get that right from the get-go. and also they played this rhythm wrong twice. So anytime they do something twice, I think you have to address it.
Okay.
Okay? One other comment for the good of the order, everyone. You, when they're sight reading through things, they're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen. You will do yourself a lot of good and save yourself some rehearsal time if you'll give them a second chance. Because a lot of times, like, people will correct things the second time through. So maybe, Jenna, you could do, if you're gonna do that beginning section, say, we're just gonna try that again, and give them a few bullet point comments. So for example, what letter were you at? Was that N? Right? So I would maybe say something like, actually, let's go at that spot at 8 or 10 or whatever it is before O where the triplets start. I think I would say something like, those of you who have bum, 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 make that come out of the texture a little bit more, and the rest of you make sure you're doing the dynamics that are on the page. And then go and let them try it again to see how much they self-correct. Because all of you so far have run through a chunk of it and then dug in and dealt with detail work that might have corrected itself if you let them try it one more time. Because they learn a lot from trying it once. Okay, so would you, those of you who had to go still or towards the end of the semester when you go again, will you keep that in mind as you're planning? Try and work that into your plan. Play through a section and then maybe have them play through a small section one more time before you jump in and really start to pull things apart. Okay? All right, good. Thank you, Jenna.